Hello students, welcome to another session of electronics. Today we will continue to discuss chapter 2. We talked about earlier Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's laws and their applications. We will start off with network theorems today, the first network theorem. So what we discussed earlier again, just to recap, Ohm's law we have talked about, Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. Now applications of Kirchhoff's laws are voltage divider rule and current divider rule. Whenever the resistors are connected in series and if you have to find voltage across any resistor, then you will use voltage divider rule by this equation. Voltage across any resistor, if you have to find, that will be equal to total voltage applied across it multiplied by the resistance across which you want to find the voltage divided by the total resistance. That will be your voltage divider rule. Similarly, current divider rule will tell you if the resistors are connected in parallel, then through whichever resistor you want to find current, then you can find it out by using this equation. So current through any resistor, if there are n resistors connected in parallel, if you want to find current through nth resistor, then it is equal to total current into total resistance divided by the resistor through which you want to find the current. That's how it is. Okay. Today we are going to use this in our network theorem that we are going to talk about. So there are basically many network theorems available. If you have already seen how to solve the circuit for branch currents using Kirchhoff's laws. Using Kirchhoff's laws, we will be writing simultaneous equations and simplifying that to find the currents. So that will become laborious. So instead, there are few network theorems using which the simplification becomes easy. Okay, so there are many network theorems. For your scope of understanding, we have only 3 of them. One is superposition theorem, another one is Thevenin's theorem, and the third one is maximum power transfer theorem. We will take one at a time. Okay, today we are going to start off with superposition theorem. Even though the statement looks 5-lined, but then it is actually very easy. Okay, when you start solving problem, you will realize that it's pretty simple. So let us just go through the statement. According to superposition theorem, in any linear bilateral network consisting of 2 or more independent sources, the resultant current or voltage in any branch is the algebraic sum of currents or voltages caused by each independent sources acting alone, with all other independent sources being replaced by their internal resistance, if any. If it has only, you are going to replace it by internal resistance. Otherwise, you will short circuit or open circuit. So what does this mean? What does the superposition theorem mean if you have to solve it by steps? So next we are going to see the procedure for using superposition theorem. Step number 1. If a circuit consists of many voltage sources and current sources, you have to consider only one source at a time and you replace all other sources. If it is a voltage source, then by internal resistance. If it is a current source, also by its internal resistance. But ideal voltage sources and current sources are replaced by short circuit and open circuit respectively. So for your scope of understanding, again, we are considering ideal voltage source and ideal current source. So it is going to be very easy. Okay. So second step is you have to find current in the branches and also voltages in those branches due to single source. Then the third step is the process is repeated for all the sources considering one at a time. And the fourth step is you are going to add all the currents in one particular branch due to each source and add all the voltages in any particular branch due to each sources. Then that will be the result. So how to understand this? If you take an example only, you will be able to understand better. So we are considering a simple circuit with 2 voltage sources and 1 resistor. And the question is, you have to find current and voltage across the resistor using superposition theorem. The assumption here is you have to make V1 greater than V2. We are assuming. V1 is greater than V2, and going ahead with the simplification using a superposition theorem. Okay, so what is the idea here? We are trying to find current through resistor R and voltage across resistor R. So according to superposition theorem, we will consider one source at a time. So V1 we will consider, we will not consider V2, and then find current through resistor and also voltage across resistor. And second, we will consider only second voltage source, and we will not consider the first voltage source. Again we find current through the resistor and voltage across the resistor. Then finally we have to add the two currents and the two voltages. That's all we are doing. Okay, so when superposition theorem is used, the response due to one independent source is obtained at a time. The other sources are replaced by their internal resistances, if any. In our case, ideal voltage sources, so there are no internal resistances. So first what you have to do is, when source V1 alone is considered, so we will consider only this, and we are going to short circuit this. V2 is replaced by a short circuit. Let the current through resistor be I1. We are going to call now the current as I1 and voltage across it as V1. Okay, so voltage is we will not call it as V1. Already V1 is there, so we will just say voltage across resistor. So when we have only one voltage source, what is the current flowing through the resistor? We have one voltage, one resistor. So according to Ohm's law, current I1 is equal to V1 divided by R. Okay, that is what is written here. And what is voltage across R? You have to see the polarity of the resistor. Positive of V1 is coming here, negative of V1 is coming here. So voltage across R is going to be plus V1. That is what is this. You have to first consider using only one voltage source. Now the second will be when the second source is considered, and we are going to short this. Okay, so that is going to be here. See, when V2 alone is considered and V1 is replaced by a short circuit. So we replaced V1 by a short circuit and V2 alone is considered. Now again you have to find current through resistor R. We'll call it as I2. One voltage source, one resistor. So by Ohm's law, I2 is equal to V2 divided by R. But it won't be plus V2 because minus is coming here and plus is coming here. If you remember KVL rule, that sign conventions that we have used, the current flowing is, see, through, this is the direction of the current and it is going from negative to positive. It is opposite, isn't it? That is why we have to consider it as minus V2 divided by R. That is the current. And the voltage also, because negative is coming here and positive is coming here, it will become minus V2. So we know the current through R because of the second source as this. Voltage across R because of the second source is this. So according to superposition theorem, the resultant current and voltage is going to be algebraic sum of currents and voltages due to independent sources. So first one was which we did here, I1 is equal to V1 by R and I2 is equal to minus V2 by R. So the resultant current I is equal to I1 plus I2. So you have to add both of them, V1 by R plus of minus V2 by R, which is nothing but V1 by R minus V2 by R. That is current. As far as the voltage is concerned, if you see voltage across R because of first voltage source is plus V1 and voltage across R because of the second voltage source is minus V2. So sum of them, or V1 minus V2, will be the total voltage across the resistor R. This is how we are going to find the current and voltage across any resistor using superposition theorem. This is the simplest network. So for the same network, we'll take values for voltage V1 and V2 and R and see how to find the values of current through resistor and voltage across the resistor. That is another example. So in the figure, if voltage V1 was 12 volts, V2 was 6 and resistor R is 2. find current through and voltage across the resistor. Same kind of circuit we discussed just now. So I is equal to current through this is I1 plus I2, which is nothing but V1 by R minus V2 by R. So what is V1 by R? 12 divided by 2 minus 6 divided by 2. 12 by 2 is 6, 6 by 2 is 3, 6 minus 3 is 3 amps. That is the current through resistor R. What is the voltage across resistor? It is V1 minus V2. So 12 minus 6 is equal to 6 volts. Okay, so this is how you use superposition theorem to find current through any branch. This is a very simple circuit, but the same concept has to be used even if the circuit becomes complex. So next we will consider a circuit with two loops. This is the typical type of circuit you will get in the final examination also, to find current through any branch using superposition theorem. Okay, so today we will see current through and voltage across resistor R3, this one, 3 ohm resistor, using superposition theorem. So what does superposition theorem say? You have to consider one voltage source at a time and short the other voltage source, because there is no internal resistance along with this, so we can short this and find current flowing through this. That we will call it as I3 dash. Okay, because of the first source. Then second step is, and also we will find voltage across this, we will call it as V1. Then you consider only the second source and short the first source, and again find current through 3 ohm resistor, call it as I3 double dash, and voltage across 3 ohm as V2. Then eventually current I3 is going to be I3 dash plus I3 double dash, and voltage across this is going to be V1 plus V2. So that is the procedure using superposition theorem. So we will take one step at a time, one voltage source at a time, and find the currents. So the solution is going to be like this. When 10 volts alone is acting, replace 15 volts by a short circuit. When you replace 15 volts by a short circuit, it looks like this. This is how it looks like. Okay, so how to get the current I3 dash then? For that, what we should do is, first we have to shrink the circuit, in the sense you have to minimize the resistances. You have to understand how the resistors are connected. Now if you see here, you have to come from this direction. These two resistors are connected in parallel. How to know whether they are connected in parallel? When the current is flowing here, it gets divided. Whenever current divides, that means the resistors are connected in parallel. So these two resistors are in parallel. You can simplify these two by using parallel combination of resistor, which is R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay, so that is 6 into 3 by 6 plus 3 equal to 2 ohms. So when you replace this by one single resistor 2 ohms, those two are in series. So that will become 4 ohms. 4 ohms is connected across 10 volts. Then you can find the current I using Ohm's law. 10 divided by 4, 2.5 will be the main current. That main current which flows here gets divided. So you are going to use current divider rule, which we discussed in the previous session. Okay, that is how you find the current I3 dash. So that I'll show you in the next slide here. So this is the circuit using first voltage source when the second source is shorted. So we have to find this parallel combination, that is equal to 6 in parallel with 3, that is equal to 2 ohms plus 2 equal to 4 ohms. Now the total current I is equal to total voltage divided by total resistance. 10 divided by 4 is equal to 2.5. That is the total current flowing, which gets divided. So how does it divide? We can find using current divider rule. IN is equal to I into RT divided by RN, which we discussed in the beginning of the session also. So IN is our I3 dash, is equal to total current I is equal to 2.5 into total resistance is 2 ohms divided by 3. So 2.5 into 2, which is 5, divided by 3. 5 by 3 is equal to 1.666 amps. Okay, that is how you find I3 dash using current divider rule. How to find voltage across 3 ohm? Current multiplied by resistance according to Ohm's law gives you voltage. So it is 3 into 1.66 equal to 5 volts. So you got I3 dash and also drop across the resistor as V3 dash. Now we have to find I3 double dash because of the other source and V3 double dash. So that we will see here. When 15 volts is acting alone, 10 volts should be shorted. And the circuit looks like this. So with this, now we have to find I3 double dash flowing through 3 ohms. How to find that? Again, you need to shrink the circuit. You have to minimize the resistors, looking at how they are connected, parallel, series, etc. So now if you see current flowing because of this source in this direction, it gets divided like this. Whenever current divides, that means resistors are connected in series. So both are connected in parallel. When the current divides, resistors are connected in parallel. So when these two are in parallel, the parallel combination gives you 2 into 3 divided by 2 plus 3. That is 6 by 5 equal to 1.5. 6 by 5 is 1.2. 6 divided by 5 is 1.2 plus 6, because this combination is in series with 6 ohms. 1.2 plus 6 is equal to 7.2. That is the total resistance of this circuit. Total voltage divided by total resistance, that is 15 divided by 7.2 gives you I. 15 by 7.2 is equal to 2.083. That is the main current. This main current is the one which divides. So how to find I3 double dash? Using this current divider rule. IN is equal to I into RT divided by RN. I is equal to 2.083 and RT is equal to 6 divided by 5, which is 1.2, divided by Rn is this 3. So when you substitute, you get 0.833 amps. Okay, so current I3 double dash we found through this. I3 dash we found earlier. Now voltage V3 double dash can be found as current I3 double dash multiplied by 3, which is 0.833 multiplied by 3 gives you 2.5 volts. Okay, so we have I3 dash, I3 double dash, V3 dash, V3 double dash. All we have to do is add them. So by superposition theorem, V3 drop across resistor R3, 3 ohms, and current through 3 ohm, which is I3, can be given as V3 dash plus V3 double dash, 5 plus 2.5 equal to 7.5, and I3 is equal to I3 dash plus I3 double dash equal to 2.5 amps. Okay, so this is how you find using superposition theorem. All you have to do is know your current divider rule and also know how the resistors are connected in series and parallel. That's all. Your earlier knowledge on parallel series combination of resistors and current divider rule helps here. Okay, this is one example. We will take one more example with the voltage source and the current source. This is the another example. Using superposition theorem, calculate current flowing through 6 kilo ohm resistor, that is this, in the circuit given below. Okay, so if you consider superposition theorem, you should remember when we talked earlier, when you are considering voltage source and not considering current source, then this has to be replaced by a open circuit. Voltage source should be replaced by a short circuit, current source should be replaced by a open circuit. Then this circuit actually is very simple for getting whichever current you want, unlike the previous example. Okay, so we will see how to do it. The first step is we are going to consider when 6 milliamps is acting alone, and we are going to reduce 9 volts to 0. So we are going to short circuit this, and then we are going to consider only the current source. Okay, remember one source at a time. So when you consider only this, you have to short circuit this. So when you short circuit this, what happens essentially, you have 3 kilo ohm resistor and 6 kilo ohm resistor in parallel with current source, and this current source which is coming here gets divided because the resistors are in parallel. So you can use current divider rule like this to find current through 6 kilo ohm. So we will call that as IR2 dash. This will call it as R1, this as R2. So IR2 dash is going to be, using current divider rule, main current 6 milliamps into total resistance 3 kilo into 6 kilo when they are in parallel becomes 3 into 6 divided by 3 plus 6, which is equal to 2 kilo ohms. So I is 6 milli into 2 kilo ohms divided by the resistor through which we have to find current is 6 kilo ohms. So divided by 6 kilo. 6 cancels. We are only left with 2 milliamps. Okay. So that is the current flowing through 6 kilo ohms, because current source is already there. So it becomes easy. Next you have to consider only 9 volts and not consider current source. If for the current source, what do? We'll open circuit. So when you open circuit this, you are only having 3 kilo ohm and 6 kilo ohm. This is open circuited. That means only this circuit. When it's only this circuit, these two are going to be in series. So 9 volts and 2 resistors in series. So when they are in series, what do? We add them. 3 kilo plus 6 kilo is going to be 9 kilo ohms with 9 volts. So what will be the current flowing? 1 voltage source and 9 kilo ohm resistor. 9 divided by 9 kilo will be equal to 1 milliamps. So that is what is written here. See, 9 divided by 2 resistors added. 9 by 9 kilo is equal to 1 milliamps. This will become IR2 double dash, the current flowing through this. IR2 dash is 2 milliamps, IR2 double dash is 1 milliamps. So you have to just add both of them. It will be 2 milliamps plus 1 milliamp is equal to 3 milliamps. That's all. This kind of problem will be given for 5 marks in the final examination. Okay, so you have to go through again and again and again, same problem, you go through steps again and again, only then you will understand. Even KCL and KVL are also like that, because you are learning for the first time. Only in this chapter I have to tell you, you are having all these theorems and problems. Next chapter onwards it will become easy. We'll only use it whenever we require. Most of the time we will be using only Ohm's law. Okay, only in this theorem we are solving quite many problems. Okay, so please learn repeatedly, then you will get the concept easily. So we will I have given you 2 assignment questions. I want you to solve and tell me the answer. Only then I can help you. Okay, so it's on the similar lines like how we did today, the first example, I have given you this problem where V1 is equal to 10 volts, V2 is equal to 5 volts and R is equal to 2 ohms. You have to find current through and voltage across the resistor R. First you will have to consider only V1, which is 10 volts, and short this and find current through this, that you will call it as I dash. That will become 10 divided by 2 equal to 5 amps. Then you consider only V2 and short this and find current through R. That time it will become minus, because current is flowing in this opposite direction. So it will be 5 divided by 2, which is minus 2.5 amps. So you are going to add both of them for current. 5 earlier current was 5 amps, minus 2.5 is equal to 2.5 amps will be the current. To find voltage, it's nothing but V1 minus V2 through this, that is 10 minus 5 equal to 5 volts. I already told you the answer and also told you how to do it. It's on a similar lines, you should do it. Okay, how we have taken the first example in this session. So do this, and again this second assignment problem is also similar to the second example. Only the difference is that you are seeing resistance and voltage source, only resistance is here. You have to find current through this. you are used to seeing this in the last branch. So you can always replace, you can put this in the middle, you can put this in the end, still the circuit is the same, and go ahead and simplify how I have shown you in the second example. Okay, and tell me what is current flowing through 12 ohms using superposition theorem. This kind of problem only will be given in the final examination. So like I told you, you have to solve the problem, same problem, go through the steps again and again until you understand clearly. Then you will get good at it. So today we have taken first network theorem, superposition theorem. In the next session we are going to take up the second theorem, which is Thevenin's theorem. Okay, and the last maximum power transfer theorem. So this is about it for today. I will leave you with this interesting fact which I found interesting again. So the first mouse which you are using extensively for using the computer was developed by using, it was made out of wood. See, this is how it looked like. Isn't it amazing? They had the mouse like this, the buttons were like this, and this is the one to move around. Okay, it was invented in around 1964 by Doug Engelbart. So I thought I'll share it with you. Okay, you finished the assignment and also answer the quiz. If there is any doubt, you can always write to me in WhatsApp. I will answer to your questions. Okay, take care. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.